Hello all, we are Team 5, and we are pleased to present our recommendation for addressing food insecurity in the greater Pittsburgh area. So in creating a suitable question for this huge problem, we personally started our journey to understand food insecurity by assessing other countries' successes instead. The US currently ranks 9th on the Global Food Security Index with a goal of having a sustainable impact. Food insecurity is evaluated largely by availability, affordability, and natural resources of food, but it's hard to see the true unavailability of food when grocery store shelves are overflowing with items. So to take a step back, we visited the local food pantry and created distributor surveys to understand how food availability flows in their organization. We initially parsed the given data to provide our high-impact question, and upon further analysis on Tableau, reformulated our question to better identify the gap between food distribution and supply, as well as visualize a map by zip code and demographics. From this, we've created an affordable and easy to implement solution for the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank to hopefully develop and maintain, as addressing food insecurity cannot be solved in isolation.
With our analysis, we identified key role players and identified what are their driving factors and where exactly they're facing an issue. Looking from the left, we have providers such as Giant Eagle, US Department of Agriculture, federal government, who share a common goal of supplying food to all the people who are food insecure and promote a healthy diet and build a stronger community. Whereas with the Greater Pittsburgh community of food bank, they are driven to identify food insecure households and individuals and expand their helping hands towards them to have a healthy meal. Lastly, the consumers, who are the food insecure people who come to food bank for the need to receive a healthy meal. There is no provider of food bank that can visualize the food distribution from the source to the consumer. So we identified the gap and decided to analyze further on this issue. So we wanted to solve the availability problem. With that, we needed to empower our stakeholder, which is Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. It has to know exactly and visualize the food flow from the provider to the plates of the consumers. After doing the first level of analysis and seeing who our stakeholders is, our high impact question is how can we easily visualize food flow from Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Banks to the consumer?
Before coming up with the solution of our high-impact questions, it is important to identify the root cause of the problem. For our analysis, we have focused on the sourcing and distribution of food from the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, and we use the product weight and order weight for our analysis, which is match the order weights to match the distributed part with the food source, and the product weights to match the food distributed by the food bank. And therefore, we have three kinds of focus, which is current sourcing discrepancies, product and order weight, and current distribution by population. This map shows on the slide is a sample for our visualization analysis process. As covered in our analysis, in phase 2, we want to find out areas of low income and percentage of food distributed by the food bank. This will help us visualize better the food distribution process.
The solution we would like to propose is a dashboard that would be integrated with the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank portal, which would be created to reduce the chance of incorrect entries and improve the ease of use for volunteers who currently manually input inventory data on Excel. This dashboard would be connected to the Salesforce database using API modules, which would be used to generate analysis reports and graphs. There would be two phases to the proposed dashboard, the management view and the employee view. The management view that can be viewed by the main distribution centers would consist of reports that are populated using predefined metrics. Yearly, monthly, weekly, or custom reports such as food distribution analysis or percentage by food can be generated. An employee dashboard accessed by volunteers at the pantries, churches, and other organizations affiliated with the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank would contain a simplified and minimalistic data entry panel.
It would also contain analysis reports at the specific provider level, such as cost and quantity analysis, and nutrition balance sheet that groups outgoing food by macronutrients. This would enable the distributors to determine an overview of nutrition levels of food, leaving the facility for the purpose of promoting healthy food choices.
To discuss the implementation plan of our recommendation, we want the food bank to integrate APIs with the existing Salesforce data. Doing so, we believe the food bank will be able to map the actual demand of food supplied to the distributors and will be supplying accordingly. With this integration, the food bank will also be able to identify the right well-balanced nutritious food. For our course of action for the second year, we would be using the reports from the APIs to better estimate the quantity of food for the following year. We'll also analyze the data, gather insights about the nutrition needs of the people, and help them giving more nutritious food. Lastly, the food bank will be able to redistribute food to the agencies that require additional food of any particular type from those with surplus stocks. With this implementation, we believe that our recommendation would incur some costs, but since we want Salesforce to integrate their data with their APIs, it can be taken as a CSR activity. If not the case, then the cost of development of front-end user interface and API modification, development and integration is estimated to be around $20,000, and the cost for further trainings would cost less than $1,000. There are also more challenges such as initial learning for new users and security issues to integrate APIs. However, we believe these can be overcome by having additional training videos and guides and updating them through feedback from users to have a more effective training modules down the line. Lastly, we can allow developers to parse through the existing portal's code for the front-end integration. Finally, with an aim to create an impact in the lives of people and in turn work towards a more food secure America, we took up this challenge. Based on the research, what we found as a student team was to work on increasing the availability of food. Thus, our HIQ, how can we easily visualize food flow from the greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank to consumers? Based upon the analysis, we found that there is a gap between the amount of food distributed and the amount of food sourced. Thus, to bridge this gap, our recommendation for the food bank is to integrate a dashboard with the existing portal and use APIs to communicate with the database and populate reports and graphs to help increase the availability of food. We have been grateful to have been given an opportunity to work on this challenge, and we thank you for your time. We are now happy to answer any questions.